everybody. Welcome to another edition of the MakeCode Arcade Advanced stream. I'm Richard, Richard on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Joe, at J Wonder on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Shannon, at Shakao on the MakeCode forum.
And I'm Vivian, I Live Cheerful on the MakeCode forum.
And yeah, so today I thought we would do something a little bit. I know you're looking at the screen. You're seeing pink and you're seeing white, and you're thinking, "Oh no, Richard's doing more of his time jam game that was supposed to only last one stream." But no, that is not the case. We're going to be working on remaking kind of like a genre of games that we haven't done before, but I think it's actually really easy to do in arcade, and I've seen a few people try to do it on the forum. It's like these dash games. So there's Geometry Dash, there's the Impossible Game, those sorts of things, where you're moving sideways at a set speed. There's only one button, which is jump, and the idea is you have these really kind of like intricate levels that are very timing focused, you know? And I know these games are pretty popular, so I figured, you know, it's pretty easy to do in arcade. Why don't we make one? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we'll forget otherwise, so it's probably good to mention that we won't be here on Monday
Mm-hmm.
because that's a day we have off. So
True. Yes.
Don't miss us too much.
The holiday in the United States. All right. Also, we should mention just up top, tune in tomorrow because we're going to be doing our Game Jam live stream where we're going to be announcing the results, the winners, playing through all of the honorable mentions and the winners. Yeah, tune in. It's going to be fun. All right. So anyway, to get started with this game, I made a little tile set. It's very simple. All we've got is my classic blocks, my classic spikes. We've also got these platform type things, which are I just that looked nice. And then we've also got these red blocks that we can use to make like lava,
Whoa.
Yeah. And so I made a little test map here. And so one of the kind of hallmarks of this genre is that you have very specific like speeds and jumps. Whenever you jump, you always go the same amount. You're always traveling at the same speed. And so you have to kind of figure out what's possible to get past in these games. So when we're doing this, I wanted to put in just some obstacles so that we could see like when we're tweaking the jump values and like the speed that you're moving at, like which of these it's possible to get past. So we've got like just some like ledges to see, could I jump over 1? Could I jump over 2? Could I jump over 3? Got some spikes, same thing. We got some platforms with gaps in between them. Then we were like going up, then we're going down and up, and just random distances and things between them so that we can try and figure out what's possible. One thing I haven't done yet though is I'm gonna put in some walls. So let's go ahead and just fill these all in with walls. And there we go. We're not going to do walls for the spikes because those are going to be overlap events. And I don't know, we might end up doing something to make these not hitbox based. Because right now, if you collide anywhere with the tile, you're going to, the event's going to fire. So maybe we'll put like a sprite there or something so that we have like pixel perfect physics. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the game. So we're going to create a player. By the way, if you guys have an idea for like theming this game, let me know.
Hearts themed.
All right. How big should the player be? I guess I'll just do 16 by 16 for now.
Yeah, that's a solid size.
We'll do green and we'll give him a face. What should the face be? All right, I'll do my best. I'll do my best to capture that weird grin.
Richard and I can make a giant heart, and then Joey and Shannon can make a giant heart too.
wait, which side?
Is it working?
Shannon, you have to go the other way. Yeah, and then Joey. Yeah, no, the other way. Joey, the other way. Yeah. Yeah.
This way?
Yeah. We're doing it.
Vivian has hearts on the minds today. on the mind today, guys. So, bear with us.
I didn't bring it up. Richard brought it up.
What?
You were
Oh,
like,
that's
I
correct.
found out what this
Okay.
means.
That's correct. I learned what this means, guys.
It means give me some more money.
No. It doesn't. Joey, I feel like even if you didn't know what it meant, you could have used context clues to figure it out.
All right, and I made him winking. Because, he's kind of a rascal. All right. That looks weird.
I feel like we knew that.
It's only a little unsettling.
I think you should give it a smaller mouth. Unless that mouth is integral to the specific expression.
All right, we're going to do something that I can draw more easily, which is going to be... like that. Aw.
We've also got suggestions in the chat for boosters that bounce you automatically and tiles that change the gravity. So just so those are floating in the space.
All right. Yeah, we'll definitely have time to do some more stuff. I think the core part of this is going to be pretty simple. Okay, so I'm actually going to make this 15 by 15. And the reason that I'm doing that is because even though our tiles are 16 by 16, I have drawn them so that they are 15 by 15, if that makes sense. I like to leave a little gap so that it doesn't just look continuous. So I
Gap in his teeth.
Isn't there a song about that with whistling?
probably. Okay, so we got our character. Let's go ahead and do the classic setup. We're going to define something for gravity. So let's go in here. We're going to make a variable called gravity. We're going to set it to be the classic first thing we use, which is 500. And then we will set the AY of our player. Got to put gravity up here. And down we go. All right. So now we're also going to go into scene, and we're going to do a camera follow on the player. And I realize we're going to need a little bit of more ramp time before we actually start going into this level. So I'm going to move everything over a bit. There we go. And this is just going to give us some time to get up to speed when the game starts, so we don't just immediately die.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I doing this in an annoying way? There we go. Yeah. All right. So let's fall on down. There we go. Time to set our velocity. So there's two kind of ways to, there's a few ways to die in this game. One is you don't make a jump when you're supposed to. So if I hit this edge of this block, that's no good. Two is I hit a spike. Three is I fall. So we're going to be adding code for all of that. So to start, let's go ahead and set our velocity. So I'm going to put this inside of a variable because I think we're going to have to use it. There's going to be a little bit of math, so but it'll be easy math. All right, so we're going to set our move speed to be, I don't know, 100. That's probably way too fast, but we'll do that for now. Whoops. All right. Why is it jittering around? you see that? Do you guys see that?
Why is...
It's because my sprite is an odd size.
Oh.
Should be, but it could be.
We've had issues in the past with odd sizes before.
All right, we got to file that one. That's no good.
Oh, we fixed all of them.
There you go.
Oh.
Smooth
Yeah.
as butter. All right. We want to, now that we've got our basic move speed, and actually this move speed doesn't look that bad now that I'm seeing it. We want to do jumping. So we're going to go inside of our controller category, and we're going to drag out an on button press, and we're just going to do any button. There's only one button in this game, and it is jump. So when we jump, we're going to do our a calculation. So, well, first we need to make sure that we are on the ground. So let's go ahead and put in an if. We're going to go into scene. We're going to do a, not that, is hitting wall. Change this to be the player, change this to be bottom. So if we are hitting the wall on the bottom, then we want to do a jump. So we're going to set our velocity. So let's go ahead and drag out a set property block. We're going to set this to be our VY, set this to be the player, and we need now to make another variable, which is going to be called jump height. And these are just going to be all the values that we can tweak. So I'm going to set this to be 2 blocks high, which is 32. And really, I'm going to make it 33 so that we have a little bit of wiggle room. If it's a little too exact, then it's difficult to actually make that like line up correctly, you know? Okay, so let's go into math. We're going to do a square root. Or actually, we're going to do a 0 minus square root of 2 times gravity times jump height. And now we should jump 2 blocks high. There we go. That looks about right. Okay.
No.
You gonna do the flip, Richard?
I want to do the flip, but I'm wondering how difficult that's going to be.
Just an animation, right?
It is just an animation. That's true. But I'm going to have to... It doesn't flip all the way, you know? It flips 90 degrees.
Oh. Hmm.
Yeah. Joey, what's the name of your extension?
I know it.
Which one?
Hey,
PXT
hey, hey,
scale?
hey.
I
Guys,
can't type this one in because I don't know what it... I have no idea what it is
That's
at all.
part of the challenge.
sounds
No,
like
I don't even know what words are in there.
Okay.
Are you talking about the rotation one?
Yeah,
PXT scaling?
thank you.
Joey.
I was gonna tell Richard.
I mean, we're gonna have to wait quite a while for all permutations of words PXT plus space.
No, I just want Richard to try it once.
One course, yeah.
I was absolutely just going to put in a bunch of PXT rotating, PXT rotations. The word scaling did not enter my mind.
Yeah, it's scaling because that was.
Oh my gosh! But if Richard had gotten that 1 quarter, he would have surpassed me.
Doesn't Richard still owe a quarter? What is? I wasn't here for the institution of the extensions quarter rule.
It was if you mistype an extension, but I feel like this is a gray area. All right, put me down for a quarter.
No, no, no. Thank you for your generosity, Richard.
Yeah, it's all right. I understand. Okay, so we're going to be doing an array of 8 rotations of the image of our sprite. We'll do that right here. I need to do padding, right?
I mean, yeah, just get whatever padding you want.
All right, we'll do it without padding for now, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to go into animation. I'm going to go ahead and say animate with these frames. So let me do a get variable here. Change this to be the player. Loop on 100. And let's just see what the heck this looks like.
I think it has a default padding, so.
Okay, this is working pretty well. The thing we want to do, though, is we want to make it so that our collision box is not what our sprite actually looks like. So to do that, because, so right now we see it's like jumping up and down, and that's because it's changing size, right, as it gets onto diagonals. So we don't want that. What we're going to do instead is we're going to go into sprites. We're going to create another sprite here. We're going to call it, actually, you know what we're going to do? We're actually just going to leave this exactly as we have it right now. We're going to create another sprite down here, and this one's going to be called the player's face. For some reason, that makes me uncomfortable.
Skin?
Right.
Does skin make you more comfortable?
The player's soul. You can only collide with their soul.
All right, we're going to do the player's face. We're going to set it to be this. We're going to do an animation of the player's face. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to go into sprites. And we're going to, you can see we left it right behind. We're going to set the one behind it to be invisible. So let's go ahead and go into our the sprites thing and grab this flag block. We're going to put this down here. We're going to change this to be the player. We're going to choose invisible and not relative to camera, invisible, and set that to be on. All right, cool. Now we want it to make it so that we actually follow. So to do that, we're not going to use follow because that would make it a little bit of glitchy. We're instead going to do an side of game. We're going to do an on game update. And on each game update, we're just going to set the position to be the same. So let's go ahead and go into the player's face, set the position to be the X of the player and the Y of the player. All right, so it's still glitching out. Why is it doing that? Well, it's because this still has collisions on it. And so we don't want that to happen. We want this to be a ghost. So we're going to take this and duplicate it. We're going to change this to be the player's face. We're going to go and set ghost to be on. Ghost automatically does all of the things. So, all right, there we go. Now it's not glitching. It's following along. It's a little weird. We don't actually want it to do this thing where it's just constantly turning, right? We only want to turn when we like start jumping. So, yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. So I believe it turns 1/4 turn per jump. Is that right?
This is actually one game I've never played, so.
Yeah, I've never really played it either,
I'm
but I know
useless for
of
once.
it. For once, yep, you're right. You know, Joe, you should drop off the call.
Yeah.
Joe, you're useful in so many different ways, not just knowing games.
Oh, one of our experts in chat says geometry dash rotates 360 each jump.
Oh, that makes it super easy then, right?
It really does rotate 360 each jump?
It
You just turn off loop, right?
looking at did 180, but it wasn't like the real thing. Here, let me look it up.
I don't think it rotates 360 each time. That would make the code much easier.
If it would make the code easier, we could just do it.
Okay, we'll do that for now, and maybe we'll make it look better later. So we're just going to do this. We're going to put this inside of our on any button pressed. And we're going to turn off loop. Okay, well, kind of ends in this fun little grinding. Right, so we want to make sure that we actually put the first frame as the last frame in the animation, because that's what's going to be reset to. So we're going to go into arrays. We're going to go ahead and choose add the push. So let's go ahead and do an add at end, add value to end. We're going to do frames here, and we're going to get the first value from frames. So let's go ahead and do the value at 0, frames. All right, so now when we jump, we're back at the start. All right, we gotta make this a little tighter. It's moving a little slow.
Oh, okay. So it says in the chat we have a message that says that it looks like it's based off of how high it jumps. So if you like jump up one tile, it'll only go a quarter. But if you land where you were, it'll go a full, like a half turn. So 90 versus 180 degrees.
Interesting. Okay, we can make that happen.
Yeah. We just need to get the timing right on the interval, right? And then just stop all animations.
So I think what we need to do is maybe we stop using the animation block, and instead what we do is we do our own animation where we set the frame index and then we snap it to be the closest even frame when you hit the ground, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. So to do that, we're going to do an on-game update. We're going to set it to be 75 milliseconds because that's what we're currently using. We're going to make another variable, which is going to be called current frame index. If you ever wondered how the animation thing is implemented, this is basically it. Man, I'm so bad at holding the shift key.
We had another comment in chat that says it rotates 180 if it lands on the same Y as it started at, and only 90 if it lands on a block above 1Y.
You know those times, Vivian, when you were asking about where it sounds like you don't, where if I get the idea if you didn't listen to me?
Is that what you said? Sorry, Joey. I thought you were saying... I'm sorry. I wasn't listening. I thought I listened and I thought I comprehended. I totally missed the Y part of your message.
All right, so we're gonna set jumping to be a Boolean. We're going to set it to be false to start. We're going to say if we are jumping, then we're going to change this current frame index by 1. And we're going to call set image on our sprite. Set image on the player's face to be frames. Get value at the current frame index. Cool. And we need to make this wrap around. So we're actually going to, instead of doing what I was doing with the change, we're just going to do a set. Change this to be the right variable. Current frame index. And we're going to use the remainder, which is really handy for doing this. Stop that. So we want to set it to current frame index plus 1, and the remainder of that divided by 8, because we have 8 frames. All right. So now we just need to set our jumping variable. So we're going to go ahead over here where we're doing our jump. We're going to set it to be true. Go away, animate block. We no longer need you because we're making our own. And now we're going to go into on sprite of kind hits wall at location. And we're going to set jumping to be false. Whoops. Okay. Stop it. Stop. All right. All right. Okay, so it's working, but we have a problem right now of that we can land on a diagonal, which we don't want to do. So the way that we do that, I kind of mentioned this before, but right now we have even values and odd values. And so if you think about the rotations, right, we have the like 90 degrees. I mean, we have the start, then rotated 45, then rotated 90, then rotated 135, then rotated 180. And so we want to make sure that we snap to those ones that are square, because those are the ones that are going to line up well with the ground. So those are going to be all of the even indexes. So 0, 2, 4, and 6. So the way we can fix this is when we're doing this jumping, when we set it to be false, what we also want to do is we want to check to see if it's even, and if it's not, we want to change it by 1. So we're going to go into our math again. We're going to get remainder again. We're going to do an equals, and the way to check if something is even is you want to divide it by 2, and if the remainder is 0, that means it's even. All right, so if the remainder of divided by 2 does not equal 0, then we want to basically do this same thing. We want to add 1, and we want to set our image. And I put this in the wrong place. That should be there. All right, so now we should yeah, all right, that's working. Cool, okay. All right, so this is working okay. I might want to make it smoother later by increasing this number, but we'll do that later. All right, we got it. So let's go ahead and set this over, and let's get into the nitty-gritty of our game. So there's a few things that are important. We want to know like how long a jump lasts. And the reason we want to know how long a jump lasts is because that'll tell us how far we can go in a single jump. But actually, you know what, before I get into this stuff, let's do the actual meat and potatoes, you know? We gotta put in the lose conditions. Okay, so first we need to figure out if we have stopped. So that's really easy to do. We can just go into our on-game update. We're gonna put in an if, we're gonna do an equals, we're going to get the velocity. So we're going to check the player VX. And if that's equal to 0, then that means we hit something. And if that happens, game over. And let me mute this guy. All right, there we go. Got that working. All right, next lose condition, spikes. We're going to do an on overlaps for a tile. We're going to change this to be spikes. And actually, I also made a this type of spike. And so for both of these, we're also going to do game over. And what's the last one we have? Well, it's hitting the like bottom when you fall. And I think the easiest way to do that is actually just to do it inside of the authoring for the level. We'll just put some red down here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take these red tiles, and we're going to make it so that you also lose if you touch these. So let's go ahead and go into our overlapped. We will add one more, which is going to be red. And whoa, it's raining super hard here. You guys hear that?
Nope.
Oh, that's a shame. It sounds really cool. All right. So jump, jump, jump. All right. I'm not sure that one's possible. Let's see if I can make it. here goes. Yeah, nope. I think this might be why it's important to have pixel perfect collisions, you know? Because like I'm
Is the
sorry,
width of your jump 3 or 3.5?
it's a good question. I don't know what my current width of my jump is. We kind of need to calculate that, I think. So we could do some math to calculate that, but that sounds like something I wouldn't be able to do in my head, so we're going to do it the fun way, which is we're going to get the x of our player, and then when we land, we're going to put in an if we are jumping, and if we are, then we are going to have the sprite say how far it went. So we're just going to do x minus the start x. All right, and we're going to put that inside of a round, I think, to make it nice and clean. All right, let's do it. Jump. 73, 72, 62, 71, 73, 71. All right, so I feel like 72 is a good number.
Mm-hmm.
How many blocks is that?
More than 4.
4.5.
4.5. So that's not that bad, actually. I don't know. We could do 4.5. So I know that Geometry Dash specifically is 3.5 blocks. But it changes depending on how fast the game is currently going because there's different speeds. So that's like the normal speed. And when it gets faster, it goes up by like half a block increments. So that's like 2 speed things faster. But anyway, we can tune this if we want. And the way to tune this is probably going to be by setting our VX because we want to make sure that we're, going at this rate. There's 2 things we could tune. We could either tune the gravity or we could tune the VX to get it to where we want. We don't want to tune the jump height because we set it to that for a reason,
Mm-hmm. We might want to consider tuning the collisions too a little bit by switching to sprites instead of tiles, because that'll make it feel a little bit better too.
Yeah. So we want to do that for the spikes. And yeah, I hinted at before that might be what we want to go and do, like pixel perfect things. And I think that we should. So we're going to go into our tile map editor real quick. Going to do an edit, and we're just going to copy this so that I have the exact image and the exact size. We're going to go ahead and make this into a sprite. And we're going to replace all of this outside pink. Oh, whoops. There we go. With transparency so that it won't collide. And now what we're going to do is, so we could put a lot of spikes in our level, right? And then we could create a sprite for every single one. But that might make the game pretty slow. So one other way to do this is instead, inside of our on overlap, what we'll do is instead of doing game over lose like we are right now, we're going to go into scene and we're going to do a place on top of, not random, but place on top of the specific location. And we're going to set this to be new spike. we're going to place new spike on top of location. And right now, this is going to be a problem because right now this is going to run on every frame where we are overlapping this tile. So what we want to do is we also want to set our tile to be something else. So we're just going to set it to be pink, and then that'll make it so that it'll look the same because we went ahead and duplicated this. But this overlap event is only going to fire once. It's going to create a sprite. We can check the collisions with that sprite, but we don't have to worry about creating a million sprites for spikes that you're never ever going to touch. Okay. Set pink. Add location. Place on top of location. And now we're going to go into kind, add a new kind. We're going to set this to be spike. And we're going to do an on overlaps between player and spike. And when that happens, we do lose. All right. See if we feel a little better about those collisions now.
I think this jump is possible.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
It's a really nice way to do it. I hadn't thought of that until right when you mentioned like moving the sprite around. I guess we could do it with one sprite too, but this is easier. We just have a lifespan.
Oh, that is true. We could just have a test spike that we move around, but well, you get into cases where you overlap with two.
Yeah, and I don't like that as much. Just giving it a lifespan here is clean enough, and it will.
Yep, I think you're right. I think that's a good idea. So we'll go ahead and go into new spike. We'll give it a lifespan, and that lifespan is going to be, I don't know, like a second. That should be more than enough. So we just want to make sure it doesn't get destroyed while we're still overlapping with it. We're not going to be overlapping with it for a whole second. Doesn't really matter how long it is because we're going to be cleaning these up pretty quickly. So at most, we're probably going to get like, 3 or 4 of these at a time. So
maybe like 4 seconds so it doesn't destroy itself while it's on screen.
Yeah, if you set auto destroy to true, it'll just destroy itself when you move on.
Even better.
Oh, Shannon wins. Yep. Auto destroy is really handy because, like Shannon said, when something goes off screen, it'll automatically get destroyed. And so this will make sure that it never gets destroyed while we see it. Which is important because we changed the tile. All right. Whoa, I barely hit that one. All right, the other thing we could do to make this even more satisfying is we'll go over to the player space, and we're actually going to change the kind of this. Well, no, we'll leave this kind as player. We're going to make this one space. And instead of doing ghost for everything, we're going to set this to be ghost through walls. And what we're going to do now is we're going to come over here, and we're going to change this to be on kind of face overlaps with kind of spike. And this will make it so it's even more pixel perfect with spikes, and it takes our animation into account. All right, cool. So I like this. It's going pretty well. I think we've got the basic mechanics in, so let's just go ahead and do some nice stuff now. I want to make that animation smoother because it looks a little choppy right now, I think it would look better if we made it like, let's do like twice as much and see how that goes. So I'm going to change from 8 to be 16. That means I'm also going to have to go to the places where I was using 8 in my code, which was 2 places. It's here. And in the place where I check if I landed or not. There we go. And what we want to do is we also want to make it so that right now we're snapping to even ones, but that is no longer the correct place for us to snap because we are now in a state where we every 4th one is going to be the one where we want to stop. So we're going to change this to be divided by 4. And right now we're just adding 1 to get to the next one. But what we're going to do instead is, well, I don't know. There's probably some fancy math way for me to do this, but there we go. So we'll just do this with a while loop, which will make it so that we can we'll just keep going until we hit one that is a multiple of 4. And I'd say this is working pretty well. I think it looks much better than, yeah. All right, let's make it a little smoother, a little faster, I mean. So we're gonna go into this on-game update. We'll make this like 50, and I think that's probably good. I don't want to make it twice as fast, but all right, nice. Okay. So one other thing we could do is we can make it so that when we're falling, we also start turning. So right now we only turn when we jump. But there's also the case where we fall from the platform, and we also want to turn when that's happening. So to do that, we need to check to see if we are hitting the ground or not. So the easiest way to do that is we're going to make a variable which is going to be called on ground. We're going to set on ground inside of our on game update. And we're going to set our on ground to simply be is hitting wall bottom, which is right here. Why did I put that there? That should go there. Okay, so we're going to set this on ground to be if the player is hitting the wall bottom. And now what we want to do is we want to still go into here, and instead of doing this jumping thing that we were doing before, we'll just change this to be on ground. Whoops, that's backwards. Change this to be if we are not on the ground. It looks a little weird when it lands, you know? Because sometimes it jumps pretty far. So I wonder if there's a way we can make that better.
If it's just one of snap backwards, go back instead of forwards.
I like that. Okay, so we're gonna go to where we're landing. All right, just did that while loop business. And what we're going to do is we want to make it so that we can tell if we are just one above or if we are not. So what we can do instead is we can do this same remainder check that we're doing. But we're going to say if it equals 1, and if it does, then we're just going to set it to be the current frame index minus 1. No, we're not going to do that because that doesn't work with mod. So let's talk about a weird thing about remainders, okay? So you can't always subtract 1 because that could go into -1, and that will give you something weird with JavaScript remainders. But
we're safe.
If you
we're safe in this case because we know that we're 1 above, right?
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay. So it looks like there we go. I'm landing wrong in some cases. Oh, I'm not setting the image.
Oh.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like it. It's still, oh, you can still tell it's a little glitchy when you hit the ground, but it's not that bad. I like it. All right, let's get rid of our debug code because we don't really need to say how far we're going now. And we've gotten the basics. So hit me with those suggestions from chat.
Tile that bounces you automatically. Tile that switches the gravity.
Oh, right. So let's start with the first one, bouncing automatically, because that is a nice and easy one to do. We're going to add a new tile. So I'm going to use this blank tile that I drew for some reason. We're going to edit it, and let's see, what should it be? Fill it in pink. I want to make it, I'm thinking maybe, we'll see if I can do this in a way that reads it all. I'm going to draw it, and I'm not going to tell you guys what it is, and I want you to tell me what it is.
All
right, that's going to be my test.
Can you hear the rain from my side now?
Nope.
Okay.
It's here too.
It's crazy. Jelly?
Yep. Nah, I don't like that. All right. So the idea is you overlap with the jelly, and that's gonna bounce you up. So to do this, simple enough. We're gonna go into our on start first, and we're gonna make another variable, which is gonna be called jelly jump height. And I feel like it should be like maybe like one more block. So let's make it 49. I made it 48. Let's make it 49, so it's 3 blocks high. And what we're going to do now is we have this is on hits wall at location. And what we want to do is we want to see if that location is a jelly. And if it is, we're going to do a jump just like we did before. So we're going to go into here. We're going to go into scene. We're going to do, let's see, tile at location is jelly. And if it is, then let's go ahead and copy our jump code. It's over here. And instead of jump height, we're going to use our jelly jump height. Oh man, I'm bad at this game. All right, let's go, let's go, let's go. Nice. Cool. I love auto jump tiles because they're fun. They're a fun mechanic, and they're also just so easy to add to your code. Like if you have jumping, it's so easy to add jump tiles also. All right, next one, gravity switching. Okay, so the way I think I'm going to do this is I'm going to make 2 tiles. So let's go ahead and make the first one. We're going to just do the layout that I was doing before. So what I said before was I leave a gap between the tiles, And I always like to do that on the right side and the bottom side. And I just do that to be consistent. You can use whichever two sides you want. Well, I mean, whichever corner you want, basically. But it's good to leave a gap because then your blocks don't look a little too contiguous when you're doing this like monochrome-ish thing. All right, so we're gonna make this come up like this so that we can do the shading thing and it'll match with the rest of our blocks. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually take this and then do it like a little inlet like this. And actually, I might do one out. So let's do it like this. And in this space in the center, we're going to do an arrow showing you which way the gravity is going to change. Yeah, that's better. And now let's go ahead and do our shading. So I'm going to fill that one in. And then for this one, we're going to do checker, dithering. And we'll make this one green. All right, so let's go ahead and put this over here, because as a bonus, I won't have to do that stuff I'm bad at anymore. All right, we'll put something for you to land on over here. And now we're going to do the opposite. So I'm going to copy this, duplicate, split, split. Wait, split. Split. Wait. Okay, wait, I don't actually want to flip it at all. I just want to flip the arrow. Split. There we go. I'll make this one, well, we're using red for like bad. Make it orange. No, orange is also part of the bad. We'll make it yellow. No, that's terrible. We'll make it purple.
Yeah. Oh.
All right, cool. So this is just going to be a fun little way to bypass all of this mess. So we're going to move over here. No, stop, stop, stop. There we go. We're going to put in our gravity switcher up here. And let's go ahead. Oh, whoops. Wait, why isn't this lining up right? Did I? I chose the wrong two sides, didn't I? Yep. I guess what I meant to say is I always like to use the right and the top. There we go. Now everything's lining up nicely. The bubble's also messed up, but I'm just going to leave that one. So we're going to now do our gravity flipping, which we're running out of time, but shouldn't take too long, I think, actually. It's pretty easy to do. So let's go ahead and make that balls. We're going to go down here. And so right now we're checking our bubble right here. We're going to do the same thing, but with our gravity flipping tiles. So let's go ahead and do that one. And we're going to do that one. And now we're going to make a function, which is going to be called change gravity. And it's going to take in a Boolean that's going to be called gravity is normal style. Okay, so right here we'll do change gravity to normal style in this one, and this one's going to be change it to not normal style. All right, we're going to make another variable, which is going to be called currently normal style gravity. And we want to set this in the beginning to be true. All right. So inside of this function now, we want to flip that variable if it's not matching. If it is matching, we just want to stop. So I'm going to do a logic. I'm going to do an equals, and we're going to say if gravity is normal style is the same as currently normal style gravity, then we want to return. Because we don't have to do anything, we're already set. All right. If it's not though, then what we want to do is we want to, we're not actually going to change our gravity variable. What we're going to do instead is we're going to go to our player. To their AY, and we're going to multiply it by -1. This will only happen when we don't have the right, like the current thing is different. So we can always just multiply by -1. That's always going to be right. We're not actually going to multiply by -1 though. We're going to do 0 minus because it involves less typing. The other thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we set this variable. So we're going to set currently is normal gravity to just be the same as gravity is normal style. And the last thing we need to do, or one of the two last things we need to do, is we need to take this and we're going to put it inside of an if statement. This is our jumping code. And actually, we want the whole thing inside of an if statement. And I don't need that anymore. Okay, so if currently normal style gravity, then we just want to do jump like we had it before. Otherwise, we're going to see is hitting wall top. And then we're going to, instead of doing this minus to make it negative, we're going to make it positive. Now, over here, we're going to do the same thing for our jumping. So let's go ahead and do a logic. We're going to do if, and then we'll go into our variables and get out that currently normal style gravity block. And so this was working before. So this is what we want in our currently normal style gravity. And then for this other one, we want to do the same thing where we just take it out of that 0 minus. All right, let's try this. All right. Okay, so the other thing we need to do is inside of our on-game update, we are currently doing this on ground, and we need to flip that also. So we're going to go into logic. We're going to do an if, and we will do the currently normal style gravity. Otherwise, we will set it to be top. Is there anywhere else that I did bottom or top? I don't think so. All right, cool. Gravity flipping. Another thing that seems complicated, but isn't actually. Thank you so much for joining us. We're out of time now. Remember, tune in tomorrow. We're going to be doing our Game Jam results live stream. We're going to be playing through a bunch of Game Jam games that you guys made. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm Richard, at Richard on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Joey, at J1 on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Shannon, at Shakao on the MakeCode forum.
And I'm Vivian. I live here on the MakeCode forum.
And yeah, thanks for tuning in.